for Shane Warne. And he's done it.
We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Aussies Abroad on the B Sample Sports Network. Guys, this week I am sick and one of us is hungover. Can you understand which one of us it is? How was your weekend, guys? Let's start with you, Ness. I know you had a huge weekend.
It's a really good weekend. Yes, just a few shenanigans.
There's your answer, who's hungover by
Hey, I'm speaking fine so far. Really good weekend. Straight back into it today, though. It's event week, so stadium golf at JO Stadium and a bit of Big Bash Monica. So huge week ahead. It's really good.
Very nice. Now, mate, you've just come from training. How are you guys training this week? Are you ready for your big match on the weekend?
Yeah, just finished up training. We are. We're ready to go. Installed a few new plays, which is exciting because obviously we're just killing it. So the offense gets a bit boring and it's just so successful. So throwing a few new things in there. No, but training was good. It wasn't wet like it has been for the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's nice. It's actually starting to turn into nice weather here. So hopefully it's nice for a stadium golf on Thursday night where I'll be at 6:20. So if you guys haven't got your tickets for stadium golf, you are too late because they are sold out. Unfortunately, but I'll be there on Thursday night. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get cracking. First of all, Tim Payne, former Australian captain, has taken a leave of absence from the game. A lot of people are concerned about his welfare at the moment. We touched on this sort of last week. I'm sure him and his wife or current wife or ex-wife are going through a few things at the moment, and there's a lot going on in the Payne household. Should we feel sorry for Tim Payne? I just had to.
To answer your question, we should, but he's also put himself in that situation, I guess. But it doesn't take away from whether you're right or wrong, the mental health that the dude's got to go through and his family. So I'm going to sit on the fence and play both sides. I feel sorry for him a bit, yeah.
There was one thing I was actually not aware of. Do you guys think his wife knew about this 3 years back when it actually happened? Or is this new with her now?
That's a good counterpoint because if she does and they've discussed it and got past it as a family and then
we should be
brought back up,
okay. Yeah.
Her statement said that. So she actually came out saying that she knew about it and they'd sort of dealt with it and resolved it and they'd put it past them and it's resurfaced. So I feel really sorry for her that she's having to relive it, actually.
Yeah,
if that's all true.
Yeah. Look, moving on because I have a few other things, but I'll talk about them off air. Pat Cummins has been named the captain. Now, Ness, you picked Pat Cummins to be named the captain. Steve Smith has been named his vice captain. When will we find out about the Pat Cummins saga?
Yeah, well, true to form, maybe that's just how you've got to be if you're the Australian cricket captain. He actually came out and defended himself a little bit because he sort of said, I'm not really cool with being called the sort of, clean and I'm perfect and all that. He probably is in comparison, but he's obviously not comfortable with that title. So he said he'll make mistakes and he is human. And so I thought that was a good response from him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of bad weather up north at the moment. And I think the Aussies are struggling to get the Australia A versus Australia match up and running. We're supposed to be tomorrow, but it also looks like England's up there as well. So both teams will have a very short training session before the game starts on Wednesday the 8th. So look, they say summer starts in 2 days' time. Summer starts up there in 8 days' time. The summer of cricket is here, and I cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic. Talking about cricket, the Perth Scorchers have won the WBL title on their 3rd try. It was kind of a mismatch of a game. These two teams have averaged about 170 going forward the last couple of games, but Perth had 146, and that was enough to get the win over the Adelaide Strikers. Did either of you two happen to catch that match? No? Sweet. Cool.
No, I did not. Because we were speaking off air of me just butting in all the time. So I was trying to. I didn't get too much of that. I was away on the weekend at the fine.
That's right. The Scorchers went on to win. It was kind of an ordinary game itself. Wasn't much to sort of write home about, but I did sit down and watch the Matildas against the USA. Now, the Matildas went down 3-0. Now, this is not a game that means much at all, but there was 36,100 fans at the stadium in Para, which is a fantastic result for the women. But the main thing I want to talk about is not when the USA just dominated us on the park, but it was the Wiggles. Now, there was a young lady, she was probably late teens, early 20s. She sung the American anthem to a T. I was getting chills listening to this woman sing. She was fantastic. And then the Wiggles came out and sung the Aussie anthem. And I was wetting my pants laughing when I was watching it. And the women are standing there like arms folded going, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. What? Why were the Wiggles there? No. Ness, please enlighten me. Why were the Wiggles there?
It's a very interesting entertainment choice. It's probably not one I would probably put at a stadium, but hey, maybe you'll see the Wiggles at a stadium near you coming soon. I don't know. That's weird. They're only 36,101 because there's 8 Wiggles now, right? So the crowd figure, I'd like to question that actually.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, why would you do it? I actually saw a clip on Insta of the commentators dancing to Hot Potato. I mean, just no.
No.
No. Have we fallen that far from grace? Is this what we've become? I don't know.
I understand.
You would be our best. Oh, Shiva, sorry. Ness, you'd be best to comment on it, like the amount of work that would go into organising who's going to sing the anthem and to come up with the Wiggles. That's disappointing. Imagine that boardroom.
I'm a really big advocate when you're planning anything. I'm the whiteboard chick, so there's always a whiteboard with brainstorming going on. It's just a bit of my thing. Like it's not revolutionary, guys. It's just what I do. But can you just imagine someone writing the Wiggles on that? Like if someone put that on my whiteboard, I'd like eraser. See ya. No, I'd
get out of the room.
Yeah. Interesting choice. But
as we've said, if you're after an Aussie icon, you got Farnsey, you got Barnsey, you got all these Aussies who could build out a tune. And you pick 8 Wiggles, it just seems weird. Yeah.
Nothing against the Wiggles.
Especially
There's a market
absolutely
for
not.
them.
Absolutely not. Yes.
There's a market for them. They're just not sports fans.
Yes.
And hot take, our anthem sucks as it is.
It does.
No, agreed.
It does.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to break every sport rule here and say that the Kiwi, the New Zealand anthem is.
Oh.
No, it is amazing. It is
the Haka is
amazing.
The Haka
is amazing.
Haka's amazing. Yes. Yeah.
And the Italian anthem. I mean, I have to say that because it's heritage.
Geez, yeah.
But holy dooly, it's a cracker. It's so good.
Yeah. There are some anthems that just get you all rolled up and ready to go, whereas ours just doesn't. So
no.
Look, anyway, let's move on, because we can't talk about how bad our own country is. So now, mate, you chose a few weeks back. You sat here and went through the new lineup of the Dolphins, the team that you thought the Dolphins should have on the park, and they've just finally signed a marquee man in Felice Kafusi from Melbourne. Now I think he's the second or third signing they've had, but he should have a huge impact on them going forward. One more year with the Storm and then on to the Dolphins. I think he's only 24, but what kind of impact will he have, and how do you mold your team around him?
I think they've gone the right way with just getting experience first. Because you can have a bunch of young kids that are talented, and in the top grade of any sport, young and talented isn't always going to win. Someone that's been around and played enough games. I'm not sure how many caps he has, but he's seen enough footy. I think that's probably first and foremost. And he's come out of the Melbourne system, where anyone that comes out of that system is going to be a help for a startup team, a new team. It will just keep a level-headed, and he's a great back row. So I think great signing by them. And I guess now's probably the time to break. I'm his manager, so that's why I could break that early.
There you go. Nice work, Bo. Nice work. Now, sticking with rugby league. Now, one of the grubbiest guys you'll ever meet, perennial hopeless human Dylan Napa with the Roosters, formerly with the Roosters, continues his fall from grace. This guy played 7 or 8 Origins in 18 and 19. He won the comp with the Roosters in 2018, was it, Ness? 18? 19 with the Roosters? Yeah. I mean, he's now signed with Catalans over in the UK. He's a 28-year-old who was on about 900,000 a season and has fallen over in England, and he's now on about 600,000 over there. The man is struggling. So how do you go from being with the Roosters and playing all these Origin games to falling off the wagon and being totally out of everything over in the UK? Surely a team like the Tigers or the Dogs needs him
to become a worse player. You said off air that everyone that leaves the Roosters loses the plot. So I think the moral of the story. Yeah,
I didn't say that. Never.
Did we not record our pre-show?
No, we don't.
I didn't hear it.
The pre-show, exactly.
Actually, we should never record our pre-show.
No, we should never record our pre-show. Yeah, so all the best to him as he goes forward, but I'm sure he won't be back over here anytime soon. This weekend, guys, is the Bathurst 1000. Now, usually it is the first weekend in October. Usually it's on the October long weekend, the weekend after, and it is just an incredible spectacle. They've kind of stretched it out a bit more this year. So the Bathurst 1000 starts tomorrow, I think. They've got the Utes, the V8s, the Formula One cars. They've got everything on there. And so the Bathurst 1000, the official race is at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Do you guys have a favorite Bathurst moment? All of us love our Bathurst 1000. Do you guys have a moment that you just love?
Man, I have a few. I think one that's not my favorite, but definitely comes to mind first is, I can't even remember who it was. Do you remember when the kangaroo got hit?
Oh, yes.
Like, that's all.
Yeah.
Mark Schaefer, I think, with the chip packet in his front grill, where he had that lead and the car
the shopping bag.
Yeah, was it shopping?
There was the Woolies bag, yeah, and it stayed there. And it stopped the intake of the air.
Yeah, he stopped getting cool air. So I think he had a decent lead too, and everyone was just
slowed down.
There's another Bathurst where I think was Scapey again, where they just didn't know if he was going to get to the finish line. He had a good half a lap lead or something, but they didn't know if he had enough fuel. So you're just watching the last 5-10 laps with a massive lead, being like, oh my God, if he runs out of fuel on this, like, poor team management. Watching Van Gisberg is my favorite racer at the moment. So watching him win his first Bathurst, probably the first things that come to mind.
All right, Ness, what do you got for us?
I always liked Dick Johnson. I don't know why. He drove number 17 car, and that's my birth date. And so I just followed him. But then I met him. He came to our hometown once, and he was just a legend. He wasn't your traditional athlete, but yeah, I just used to always get stuck having to watch it because my brother would make me and so would my dad. So I just
What do you mean
was
stuck?
not, yeah, I wasn't
Great.
interested in it at all.
Loved it. Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I'll probably tune in now because, I like the F1 and now I apparently
You're an
like
F1
cups.
gal now, yeah.
Yeah. So I've done the race myself. I've done the race myself 3 times. I haven't been for about 5 or 6 years now, but there is a limit on the amount of alcohol that you can take into Bathurst because you're there for 2 or 3 days, right? There's a limit on what you can take. This is a true story. People go and they dig holes all year round and bury cartons of beer there and can cover them up knowing that that's their spot so that when they go back there, they've got 5 or 6 cartons of beer buried in the dirt. That is Australian, not the Wiggles singing the anthem. That is Australian right there.
Is Bathurst the most Australian event? Like the most, I don't want to use the word bogan, but like, is that what brings out the most Australian? Like
Summer Nats has to be really close.
Bathurst,
but I reckon, Bathurst is bigger, sure, but
Bathurst, Summer Nats, and the Riots. They're the 3. Canola Riots.
The Queanbeyan Rodeo.
Queanbeyan. That's number 1.
Bo, that's a good shout, actually. That's a really good question. Like, you probably the Australian Open is the most Australian.
Yeah, but I think the Australian Open's more for the upper class. I think Bathurst is more for everyone. Yeah.
Like, what are you the most embarrassed about our culture? What event is the most embarrassing for our culture?
I'm not going to speak about this one.
The Roosters. The Roosters.
Oh. Yeah. Can we delete you from the show? You're out.
No, it have to be Bathurst. Yeah, Bathurst, definitely. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm embarrassed by it. I think it's, I don't know. You've caught me without an answer. I'll have to think about that one.
I think the Summer Nats.
Go to Bathurst one day. And have you been?
I've never been.
Yeah, we'll go there and see what you think of the people.
I've been to.
I can see them.
I've been to both. I find Summer Nats to be wild. Summer Nats is kind of a place that take your mates, but not your missus. If that makes sense.
Oh, not
Summer Nats is wild. Yeah, Summer Nats is bad, man. Summer Nats is wild.
Look, I got taken there before I had to work.
No, this is a 2-person thing. We're not taking you Nats. Sorry, Summer Nats is bad. It's just the people who go there are just. I love you all, but it's not a place that you take your missus. No. Sorry, guys. That's how it is. Yes. Right. Let's move on very fast. Right, guys. It's time for the good, bad, and ugly. Who's up first?
You go, Spinks. You go.
All right, first. My good this week is Mr. Ben Simmons that we talk about every single week. He looks like he's been back on the training park this week and was at pre-game with the 76ers. Are we going to see him anytime soon, or is this just a tactic?
I'm leading to believe it's a tactic.
No? Yeah.
I think it's already come out that Joel Embiid basically hates the dude.
He hates him, yeah.
They've chosen him over Ben Simmons, but I can't imagine it.
Yeah, look, I think he's getting fined $1.2 million a match that he's not with the team. He signed a massive deal. I think from memory, it was $140 million over 5 years or something like that. He will run out of money before the end of the NBA season. So he needs to sort his shit out and get out there on the park and show us what he can do. Say sorry. Do the counseling. Take your phone out. Do whatever it is you got to do, man. But try to get traded. Make them want to trade you. Like, do something, because at the moment you are hemorrhaging money.
1.2 million a game.
A game. So that's not
like
a week.
$3.5 million.
That's not a week. That's a game, and sometimes they have 3 or 4 games a week, man. Yeah, that is insane.
I
Literally.
just can't even fathom that kind of money, and he's
Bad.
just not turning up to work. Just like whatever, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Nah.
Right, my bad this week is Daniel Ricciardo. Now, I know you two are Formula One fans. Daniel Ricciardo has been told by his team to pull his finger out of his ass. Has he been that bad all season, or is it just the unlucky of the Aussies where he's just had a bad run and it's always someone else's fault? It was the engine, it was the tires, it was the team, or is Daniel Ricciardo actually not the man that we think he is?
I think I'm not sure, because like I've said before, I've only been into the sport for not that long now, but when he was racing at Renault, for sure, you just watch, like, it wasn't his fault. He had so many engines blow up on him. But I thought he's kind of having not that bad a season. So,
He's
I mean, I've
fallen a
seen
bit
him
in the last
top
few
5 a
races.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
he's,
you're right,
he's
though.
easily the best driver there. He's the best driver on the field. He's better than everyone else. That's my take.
That's my take on that. That's my take on that.
Right.
Look, my ugly this week is Melbourne Storm utility, a New Zealand international, Mr. Brendan Smith, has been touring himself around up and down the east coast of Australia, trying to find a new team for the 2023 season. He went to the Dolphins, he went to the Titans, he's been to Brisbane, he went to the Roosters. Now, this is the worst kept secret in NRL. It looks like he will sign with the Roosters because he's an idiot. Is it wrong that he gets to do this whole tour while he's still got a year left on his contract with the Storm? Should this not be done over the phone because he's under contract still? Now, no, I'm going to let the two go first because you are not a Roosters idiot. So let's go.
I actually hate that we can do that in the NRL.
So do I.
Whereas the NFL, you can't talk to someone until they're off contract.
Exactly right.
Like, I just hate everything about it. Then you're playing your final year with your team, especially if you're going from like this situation, Melbourne to Roosters, which are massive rivals. Then you're going to lose a bit of that team camaraderie. Some of the boys are probably going to be off you a bit. Even though you're entitled to, you got to look after yourself and your career and like make as much money as you can while you can, for sure. But the whole idea of signing a deal while you're still under contract, I hate everything about that.
I agree, mate. Wholeheartedly. I can't understand why there's not this window where in this month you have to then do it. But you got guys, old mate that signed with the Dogs from last weekend, and him now too. They've all got a year left on their deal. Why are we allowing them to go and talk to other teams? It just seems ridiculous.
I hate it.
Ness, how do you feel about you guys now having one of the best hookers in the game and are going to win the comp in 2023?
Wow. Well, all you've done is pay out the chooks. We're not even in NRL season, and you've just like destroyed them again in this podcast. I actually I rate him. I just think he's a good character. He's a larrikin of the game, but he's a damn good footy player as well. I think he'd be a great addition. But I support exactly what the two of you have said. It's a crazy thing that you can do, and I just like it immensely. And I really think that window of opportunity is exactly what the NRL need. I just think it causes so many more problems as well. And, it's just the media goes crazy over it, and they need to focus on different things, the media and NRL. But anyway, that's probably another podcast on its own, isn't it?
Right. Sorry, what do you got?
I'm going to put my hand up if that's all right.
Yeah, go.
Because my good, bad, ugly is just rolling with the punches with the Storm. But starts off nothing to do with the Storm. My good this week is we finally got the PGA Tour back. I haven't been able to watch golf for a few weeks, which is my new love. So there is a tournament this weekend. Don't ask me when it starts, because it obviously goes over a few days. But I know December 2, whatever day that is, So we've got some golf back. I'm super keen. I'm a loser, but I think it's on Thursday. I just got whispered into the ear there. So, yeah, so golf's back. That's my good. I'm keen as I get paid out by the missus so much for watching it.
No, I love golf, man. I'm with you. Golf is incredible. I love it.
Oh,
It's great.
they're so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my good. Moving on. My bad, which Ness is going to find it very bad as well, with James Tedesco getting engaged. All of the heartthrobs. I've even maybe got a little crush on him when he's got the Blues jersey on. But that's bad for the fans out there. They all be checking him out with he's got a big booty, and now that booty's someone else's. So everyone else, my bad. I am repping my bad for you this weekend to all the girls and boys.
What's his name?
To him out there. He's now.
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name? What's his name?
James
His name?
Tedesco.
His husband. What's his name?
Oh,
What?
I don't know his partner's name, but yeah, sorry to
Maria
everyone
is
out
her
there.
name.
Okay.
We've
Okay.
stalked
Oh,
her.
of course,
Okay. Cool. Right.
of course you did. She's going to go full you on her TV series. She's going to get murdered.
No.
And my ugly this week rolls with where you were going with this whole Smith signing, which is it's so I can't understand the signing when you have Victor Radley and you've just signed Connor Watson.
Yeah.
You now have two of the three, well, all three of them can play lock or can play in the 9.
Yeah.
Again, there's another team in the NRL what's trying to fit too many square pegs into a round hole. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I'm squeaked. It's a lot of money. There's so many teams that could use a handy 9 or 13, and now the Roosters of all people just have 3 of the best of them. So they can get.
And those teams like the Knights or the Tigers or the Sharks, whatever, they would probably offer more money. But these guys will take less money to go to the Roosters because they'll get the brown paper bag on the side. That's what it is.
Which
Here we
I'm not
go.
even sure if I can. I'm not even sure if I can say this.
You
but
can. Yeah.
I've got inside information about one of the guys that knows some of the players there.
Mhm.
And there was a player last year on a very low salary contract, and he was out playing golf with Mr. Nicholas.
Mhm.
And
Oh, good egg, yeah.
he says to him, if you beat me, like if you win this hole, I'll give you 70 grand, $70,000 bet on it.
Yep.
And just purposely loses.
Because he
So
does.
he knows he's got a player that's
Yeah.
performing way better than his contract.
Yeah.
But
That's how you get
either
your
way,
money,
we can
man.
basically double the
That's how
contract
you
and
get your
work
money.
it.
Yep. Yep.
That's why no one likes the Roosters.
That's how it is.
Because fuck you and
All those
They
under the
win.
table payments. Speaking of the Roosters, Ness, what do you got for us this week?
Getting grilled today with liking the Roosters. Anyway, we'll continue. We digress. We spoke a bit about it before, but the WBBL has finished, and season 7 was actually the most watched of all of the seasons so far. So it was So the most watched game in history was the final. Awesome. They had 15,511 fans. They played it up to stadium, so that's awesome. And they had 535,000 people who tuned in to watch it on TV. So their broadcast is pretty phenomenal. So challenging circumstances with all of the COVID things, and the girls were flying all around doing quarantine. So a real credit to them, and credit to Cricket Australia for being able to get the tournament up and running.
huge.
I do think that I'd welcome what you guys think here, but I do think that while that's an amazing stat and it's up 15% from last year, do you think it has a place on its own, or do you think we need to put it back with the men's game to keep growing it? Is it strong enough to stand on its own?
I've liked it how it is. I think the men start on Friday night this week.
Yep.
I think it's been nice to have the women's first and then the men's.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to say, like, unless you're having the women's on the same time and you have the women's on at 3, to the men's at 6 or whatever, and that might work too. But if the numbers are up, the numbers are up. So, because I think at the moment you're up against nothing, are you?
Yeah, it's a good window, isn't it? There's
Yeah.
not much on. So,
Yeah.
particularly in the women's game. So, yeah.
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 Nice.
My bad this week is we've spent pretty much, every podcast talking about COVID, and we've just welcomed another variant into the country. So what I really hope is that this isn't going to start to wreak havoc on the sport world, which has, as we've again spoken about a lot, wreaked complete havoc over the last, particularly 6 to 12 months while we've been going through this world. But just a few things. So South African sport plans were thrown into turmoil this week. There were 2 rounds of matches in the United Rugby Championship. They were postponed. The Joburg Golf Tournament was postponed as well. So we've spoken about the amazing summer of cricket coming up. We've spoken about some great, racing events. We've obviously got, horse racing as well. We've got all of these international sports that are coming up. And what I would absolutely hate to see is coming into all of this amazing stuff and then rolling into what we're hoping is going to be an amazing winter, that this doesn't destroy things again. So, as I said earlier on the podcast, it's event week for us. I've never been more excited to be back in the office and actually planning events, not cancelling them. And my heart will break if we have to cancel sport again. So that's my bad. So hopefully we get on top of that one. My ugly, and Bo touched on it with Tedesco getting engaged this week. You had to bring it up, didn't you, Bo? Far out. I tell you, like, it wasn't enough getting grilled about the Roosters. I joke that I could be a good wag. I really think I do. I like enough sport, clearly. But why on earth does the media give? Well, he's out, so now I need to find colour scenes.
Mrs. Napper. Mrs. Napper.
Oh,
really?
What? Come on.
wow.
I can't hang out with him with you guys. You've just called him the grubbiest player in history.
This
It's
is,
not gonna go that well.
yes.
I'm just constantly shocked that the media give the Wags so much attention, and it's not for their looks. It's for the ridiculous comments that they make. Spinks's favourite cricket player on earth, Davey Warner, and his wife Candice, who are very vocal in the media. But she came out this week after everything with Tim Payne and talked about, Tim Payne's selection, and saying it's not okay for the Australian cricket captain, but it's okay for other players. And she had concerns around that. And we had a Raiders wife last year who blasted the coach about the team's performance on Instagram. And I don't understand how you, as a female would, or a male, but how you would actually go into someone's workplace and kind of yell at their boss effectively, and then the media picks up that story and runs with it. I just think it's completely crazy. We give them so much airtime. But over to the two
That's
of
a
you.
good call, actually.
That's
a good call, because that has been coming up a lot, and I haven't really thought enough about it, but you've really hit the nail on the head.
Would you be okay if your missus
No.
went into your workplace and was just, I could never imagine doing that, and I just think that's absolutely madness.
I wholeheartely agree.
There's issues at the moment with Baker Mayfield with the over in the NFL, and his missus comes out all the time and she says it's unfair how the fans are treating my husband. And I'm like, this has happened with a guy here with the Raiders. It happened with the Titans on the coast. I understand that wives are allowed to have an opinion about it, and I totally agree, but maybe not in such a big public display, because it's only making it harder for your husband or your partner to do well on the field and have to face his teammates. If those misses came out and said how much he's struggling with his teammates, it's only going to make it worse, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like you said, they're entitled to their opinion. I think the fault is on the media in giving them what they want and giving them the attention.
Because I will say that sometimes they actually make sometimes they do say sensible things and they make quite valid arguments. Sometimes, I say sometimes with an underline and bold. I don't think Candace Warner does, but I think I just think it's like Bo said, it's the media that actually just give it a whole lot of oxygen, and it makes it worse. So yeah, good, bad, and ugly this week.
Very nice. All right, guys. Look, we've got a lot coming up this weekend. The basketball in Australia is starting off, and it is flying. The NBL and the WNBL. I've got tickets to the WNBL here in Canberra between the Capitals and the Sydney team. I can't remember their name, but I'm going to watch that anyway. Hope the missus is not watching the show because it's a surprise. So if you are, we're going
well
to watch
done.
the show, okay? The BBL kicks off this weekend, and Ness, we have a game here in Canberra on Monday night.
We do. Thunder and the Heat. So get around it, Monica Oval.
Yeah.
Tickets through Ticket Tech. Come see me.
Oh, look at you go. Consummate professional. And the Bathurst 1000 starts tomorrow with all the other things, but the actual main race is at 12 o'clock on Sunday. Does Van Gisbergen win this weekend?
Hands fucking down, he does.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. Beautiful. All right. The A-League continues to roll on as well, but college football, and I'm sure there's some Aussies in there somewhere, college football is at the championship round this weekend. There are 5 massive games across the 5 conferences, and Alabama will finally get beaten by Georgia and will not be in the Final Four. So to all you Alabama fans out there, I hate you guys. So thank you very much. The NFL is heating up too, and the Colts got beaten this morning. So I'm sorry about that. Bye.
Fuck, it broke my heart. Tom Brady, another game he wins by doing fuck all, and will get all the credit.
Bo's favorite player.
But defensively, they were awesome, and they were all over your team, and they stopped your running back. So technically, they had you.
They didn't do shit. We just didn't give him the ball enough. Like Michael Jordan said, he's never lost a game. He's just ran out of time.
That is very
You could
true.
use some
like
of the
that.
Roosters players for your Colts, actually.
Beg your pardon?
I'll send some Roosters over for your Colts if you need.
We need a lot.
Beg your pardon. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said. Very nice. Right, guys. Make sure you find these two on Instagram and all those other socials. Until next week, guys. Hooroo.
Peace.
Bye.